Welcome back to the Recoup Daily Check-In. Today is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. I'm Sweets, this is Sid, and we're going to be talking about our normal stand-ups, building a business on base. Sid was just mentioning a live stream I did earlier today with Song a Day Man. Speaking of, today is his birthday, and not only is he celebrating his own birthday, but he has brought a digital twin into this world to create music on a daily basis to go alongside his daily posts. Sid was saying he liked the stream. I was commenting that I haven't really been able to ship code because of all the stuff that's going on. So I'm curious, Sid, what was the value you got out of watching that stream?
I love as a creative how he's thinking about leveraging AI and like leaning into it and experimenting with it. He's always been that type of artist, but I just think like just how he's thinking through and like diving into the code of it all. You know, not like standing back and waiting, but like getting his hands dirty, vibe coding, and just, you know, creating something out of nothing, even though it's not music, it's still creation, which is super cop fire. I just love that. And just what he said at the end, where like finding the other guy that's also creating a song a day, but about a specific niche, I was like, that kind of blew my mind because I was like, oh my God, we have all of these segments for these artists that we could easily spin up songs for based on segments, which I thought was a genius idea. So yeah, just a lot of really awesome insights from the mind of an artist and how he's thinking through it, which I thought was awesome.
And you got to see another vibe coder because you yourself do vibe code. I don't know if you've seen another musician or someone building in the music industry. Did it give you any perspective seeing how he is vibe coding compared to how you have been vibe coding?
Yeah, he goes slower, which is probably a good thing. I'm just like, because I'm just clicking, moving fast. So that was like good to see. Maybe a slow down and read sometimes.
Interesting. Okay, I'll pick it up. In the past 24 hours since the call, I told myself yesterday I wasn't going to stop coding until the instant route was on par with the actual route. And so I left yesterday asking the question, what is missing from the instant route in order for it to have full parity? We didn't have an answer. And yesterday I actually had wanted to ship the replacement of the routes up. Luckily, I did not. Went to sleep, woke up. Neither of us thought that there were any differences in the parity, but there are these segments, which last quarter we thought were super important. This quarter, I have not touched segments. I haven't used it in my own personal use. I don't know if anyone else is using them, but it seems like a feature that we thought was really important in this quarter has not really, in my own personal usage, I have not used it, and I have no idea if anyone else is using it, but that was a missing feature. And so we decided to put my transition of the routes on hold until we get it back up to parity. So yesterday I shipped a lot of code. I thought the momentum was going to continue today. The momentum has slowed down and we're now in a review step. So I'm thinking this entire week is going to be on this refactor. Hopefully I get this code change out after the call, but for transparency, I have spent all of this week focusing on Recoup, and Coop Records and other projects also assume that I'm going to be doing work with them. So I've still not found a good balance for me to be able to ship with positive momentum across all projects. I also need to check in with Coinbase and get all of those tasks across both Base and Coinbase figured out. So my workload for the rest of this week will likely be decreasing on Recoup so that I can focus on these other tasks. I'll be moving slower, probably only doing one pull request per day to try to get the goal of replacing /new with /instant before the end of this week. Blockers, we didn't have clarity yesterday. I asked the question openly, what was missing? Neither of us had any response. And it wasn't until I started to do the replacement where I saw that segments were missing. So we were not able to come to that answer on our own without me going into the implementation and starting to see the differences there. So the blocker is we were not able to clearly answer that question last night, which set me up in a position to have false expectations, a difference between what I thought reality looked like and what reality actually looks like. And when those differences happen, we immediately get slowed down because we have to spend more time understanding what reality actually looks like because we were hallucinating before thinking we understood. I'll stop there. What's your past 24 hours look like? What you've been building?
Past 24 hours has been good. Just a lot of cleanup on the onboarding. And I did a lot of prep to get to a place of shipping the file, add file to chat. I have not shipped it yet, so I wanted to get your confirmation on whether you think I should ship it pre or post the new route. Because I don't want to fuck it up. But that's like ready to. I spent a lot of more time than usual on the planning phase of that, so I have like, my scratch pad all ready to go. So I'm actually pretty confident and excited to see how fast I can ship that by spending more time on the planning stage. The other thing is I spent a little more time than I anticipated fixing the bug for chat rename and delete on mobile, but it is ready for your review or for your test, and it's working now. So that is ready. And then other than that, I also have a question mark on my from my product side of like what's next after the chat delete and the other things get shipped. There's a couple of different things we can do when it comes to the chat suggestions, when it comes to there's a couple other little things. So I'm kind of want to see where I end up in the next 24 hours. But that is where I'm at.
I suggest we focus on getting your pull requests out. I need to start focusing on all these other projects I've neglected for the first half of the week. And so rather than you waiting for me, which is likely going to be longer and longer, let's focus on, because I'm going to be spending less time hands-on keyboard, I can focus on giving you reviews because you don't iterate quickly on the feedback. So I can give you a review, spend time on other stuff. 6 or 7 hours later, you finally update, I can give you another review. So let's focus on getting your rename out the door, add file out the door, and then I'll work on adding it into my branch. That way you're unblocked and you can keep running forward, and I can support you with the time that I have. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, it does. Sounds good. Also, the Bradley call is tomorrow for Coinbase and Base, and I added you to it. So
I saw, I've accepted, I will be there.
Cool.
We could wrap up, or we could talk about if you still have questions about what's next, or if you want to talk about one of your features.
Do you want to test? You want to test the PR?
Which one?
Make sure the delete chat and rename.
Bruce sleeping deeply.
He is he is out.
Here. What did you have to fix? What was the bug?
It was a long roundabout process of I think it ended up being just making the z-axis pop up more, but I did a lot of roundabouting to get there, and ended up creating a model like simplifying the way we're calling them or opening the model, like just creating a new route, not a new route, a new function for it.
I'm concerned at how long this is. Maybe I'm under expecting what this work is, but 13 files changed in nearly 1,000 lines of code to do rename and delete feels like a lot. And so I'm stuck between seeing if you can reduce this to make it more efficient and just giving you thumbs up so that you go and not overanalyzing all of this code. Because I just reviewed this and I had all these checked. I told you that it wasn't working, and now nearly every file's been changed, which is just like, why was every single file changed if you've now wrapped the entire app in a new provider? Why is the entire app being wrapped in a modal provider if it's only for renaming and deleting, which is only for recent chats? Why are we wrapping the entire app in this provider?
This was the roundabout way to get to the bug solved. I can go back and make it more efficient if that's what you suggest.
This seems like a lot of code, and I'm just if
I'm not in a rush to shift.
Complex way, it probably means you do not correctly understand it, and that I take to be the same thing here. The principle I follow is less is more, simple is best, small is beautiful. If you truly understand the changes you're trying to make, they should be able to be written in a concise, short way if the feature is well defined. And seeing long code and what should have been a simple piece of feedback of on mobile it's not working, you had to touch every single file, is telling me that you potentially don't understand what's going on in here, and you're having to totally rewrite it every time, which tells me that we don't understand what's going on here. Does that sound accurate to you, or do you think I am adding unnecessary friction when this could be getting out the door faster?
I don't think it's.
Did I lose you?
I
didn't.
I think you're right. Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Yeah, I don't think it's an unnecessary friction right now. I think it's a feature that is good, but it's not a bug that's stopping everybody from using the product. And I think that it's good principle to. I think everything you're saying is on par with what you would say to an engineering team. And unless the roof was on fire and we had to ship this tomorrow, or else lose everything, I think that your feedback is valuable. And let me go take a second look on this and see if I can simplify.
One question I have is why does the logic need to be different on mobile versus desktop? Why is it not the same logic on both? Why do we ever need to add an is mobile flag being passed into a component? Typically, passing in is mobile as a prop to any component is a code smell that we are not properly. One, I thought these were the same, and so I'm confused why we would need a flag being passed to components. How could you write this such that it is the same for mobile and desktop, thus requiring less code overall, less props being passed, all these comments that say this is specifically for mobile, on mobile? And so
yeah,
try
I see what you're saying.
to those questions. Why do I need all of this additional code and logic to differentiate between mobile and desktop? And what would happen if I deleted all of that and assumed that they worked the same on mobile and desktop?
I like it. Understood. Let me go mess with that. Do you need anything from me? Do you need anything on my end? Is there anything I can do to help?
Nope, I just got to ship.
All right. Ship. Let me know if you need me. I'm around.
Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow. If you stuck around this long, give us